So many of you have probably heard teachers talk about how we support having an open heart without like just throwing our heart out there and being completely sort of undefended in a way to the world. Um, and Brene Brown, I think, has an expression: strong back, soft heart, or we could say strong back, open heart. So we're going to work with the back a little bit today, and in particular, right behind the heart space, the back of the heart space. So, um, while we sit for just a few minutes, you might think about what areas in your life do you close your heart down to? What are the areas that you kind of get that defended heart? Um, and of course, the back body is often out of sight, so we don't often think about working with it, although I think yoga students have a great appreciation for it. But we'll sit for a few minutes in silence and find a way to prop your hips up and just ponder where you might defend your heart and close down, in what situations you might do that. So soften your eyes, soften your gaze. Feel a groundedness through whatever's touching the floor. If you're on your back, that's fine as well. But if you're sitting, feel heaviness in your bones, legs, buttocks. Bring your earlobes back over your shoulders and chin parallel to the earth. And then bring your attention to your heart space. This is a practice of inquiry, not attainment. A practice of inquiry, not perfection. Keep the back of your neck long by drawing your ears back over your shoulders. Back of your skull reaches up towards the heavens. Notice if you are feeling in a hurry. No reason to hurry here. Just settle in. Take your time to come to your back on your mat. Just take your time to make that transition. We'll just begin in sort of a big X position on the floor. Really feel the connection beneath you, back to floor, legs, back of the legs. And then we're just going to do some kind of total body movement here. So with your feet moving back and forth, sort of like windshield wipers. Legs are kind of permanent. Everything's permanent. Just the feet moving back and forth. I'm going in and out, in and out, in and out. I think you can get a little Nice movement there in your feet. Right, and then come to stillness. Bend through the right knee and drop the leg down to the floor. Bend through the left knee and drop the leg down to the floor. Kind of a heavy drop. So you'll go back and forth, right to left, and let your leg just drop down to the floor. So really feeling our bones. And you could speed this up. And then we'll take both knees, bend both knees, drop them to the floor. So you're just really letting your legs drop to the floor. Feel the bone, heaviness of your bones. And you could speed this up, surprisingly difficult. And relax. And then make sure your heels are plugged into your mat and start to press your feet, extend and flex through your feet until you feel a rocking all the way through your body, all the way up into your head. So just heels are firmly planted and you're just a little flexion and extension through the feet. And then you can let that go. Good. Pick up one hand, drop that forearm to the floor. Pick up the other hand, drop that forearm to the floor. So it's kind of the same action, just low forearm, one, and then the other. Really let your bones hit the floor. And then you could speed that up. Doesn't matter whether palms up or palms down. It's a little easier palms down. And then both arms at the same time, with hands. Good. And then you can bend through your elbows and shake your hands. Shake your hands. So going back and forth at the wrist. Maybe you can do them in a different direction, maybe side to side a little bit. Just really get some movement in your hands, space in your hands. You could take them right to left. Yeah, very good. Or pinky side to thumb side, and then palm side to back of the hand side. Great, great. And then let's just bring our feet to a position of comfort and slide one hand down towards the same hip. So scrubbing the shoulders up and down, slide the other hand towards opposite hip. So just a movement back and forth, scrubbing the shoulders. And then come to some stillness. Place your hands to the top of your thighs. Draw the top of your thighs away from your hip points. Just create some space there. And then come to stillness and feel the back of your heart. Feel your back body right behind your heart. Just get an awareness of that space. Keep the back of your neck long by kind of making a little double chin there. And then take a few rounds of breath, really feeling the breath in that space. So we have, a lot of big muscle groups in the back. We have the trapezius, a big outer, more superficial muscle, but underneath the trapezius, like the rhomboids, we have a lot of other muscles that contribute to good back strength and support. But of course, everything contributes to posture, and posture contributes to an open heart. Great. So then from here, bend your elbows and take your upper arms into the floor. Reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then without disturbing your low back too much, just press your elbows into the floor and feel that space behind your heart. and then release. All right. So you don't want to hike your shoulders up into your ears. Just want to press down and then release. And press down. Keep pressing down. It'll take about 6 rounds just like that. Press down and then release. Press down and release. Feel that space behind the heart, those muscles working good. One more. Great. And let's take a twist from here. So you could just stack your knees over your hips and take your knees to one side. Extending your opposite arm, maybe taking your gaze over there. See how warmed up you are yet. And inhale, back to center, stacking knees on the other side, extending arm long. And if it feels okay, just to take one more here, we'll go back to the first direction, first side. And inhale up and over, second side. Maybe you're tighter in one side of your back. Did a lot of gardening this weekend or hiking. Great. Come back to center and just take some circles with your knees, either out and in or around in one direction. Just feel contact with your sacrum, low back, as you move around in a circle with the knees. And then reverse your direction at some point. Then from here, you can cross your ankles, rock the length of your mat a few times, or take the edge of your mat or roll to your side and come up to the seat. And then for this next part, let's take a seat in either Virasana or Sukhasana. So you could use the block for Virasana. Take my sweatshirt off here. And we're going to bring the arms, show you a couple different orientations here. We're going to bring the elbows in to the side waist. And then we'll just, the thumbs are pointing back. We'll just bring the thumbs back, feel that spot behind the heart, and then release. And then sweep the thumbs back, keep the elbows into your side, and back to the front. So I'll show the side view as well. So we really want to try to get the hands back behind into the back body, the thumbs back, and you'll be squeezing, you'll be bringing the space between the shoulder blades. You really feel that action there. Release. And let's do 3 more just like that. 3 more just like that. You might notice that one shoulder moves more than the other, or one, hand moves back more than the other. It's definitely our body signature. Good. And then after your last one here, just give yourself a big hug. Maybe even a little twist, and then change the direction of orientation of your hug. Good. And then release, bring your elbows together, your forearms together. And then we'll open the arms and bring them back together. So and when you're opening up, come as far as you can, and not just the hands, but the whole, keep your hands and your elbows in one line and then back together. So opening and shutting this little window. Good. And then the next time we'll turn palms facing you, pinkies together, open and shut, open and shut. Great. Open and shut. Good. Relax your arms down to your sides. If you you can interlace your hands behind your back and bring your arms off your back body if possible. Or if you have a strap, palms facing in and pull down on the strap and break the strap apart. Try to break the strap apart. Just here for 3 more breaths. Great. And then we'll release that, kind of shake out. You can roll your shoulders up, down, and back. Hug again, around in one direction and the opposite direction. And now bring opposite hand to opposite elbow. So most of us, it's going to be a little bit hard to get your arms off your back. But if your arms are resting at your low back here, just maybe close your eyes and imagine that they're off your back. For those of us who can get them off the back, we'll bring the arms away from the back body. Draw sit bones down into your prop, down into the earth. Good. And then release. Let's come to table. And I'm just going to face you initially just to show you this movement in the arms. So we'll come to table, take the hands down into table, and then bend through your elbows, wrap your elbows in, and then re-straighten the arms. So you're going to bend through the elbows, sort of wrap your elbows in and around, and then re-straighten the arms. So the eye of the elbow is facing forward. The eye of the elbow is facing forward. So you bend through the elbows, wrap your elbows in, and re-straighten. Really hug the elbows out. So the elbows are out, and then you hug them around and come back to straight arms. Yep. Okay. All right. So in table, elbows out, hug them around, straighten. And with knees a little bit back now, knees a little bit back, drop your forearms to the floor. Re-straighten. Drop your forearms to the floor. Re-straighten. Drop your forearms to the floor. Re-straighten. Now let's do the whole thing all together. So you're pressing into the floor, bend through your elbows, hug your elbows in, drop your forearms to the floor, re-straighten. Oh yeah. Bend through the elbows slightly, hug them in and around, drop your forearms to the floor, come back up to table. Okay, do 2 more just like that. So you bend through the elbows, you bring them out to the side, hug them around and in, drop to your forearms, and press back up. Yep. Good. Good. And then the last time you drop your forearms to the floor, go ahead and set your hips back in child's pose. Bring your hands to the back of your head in prayer and walk your elbows forward. Feel a nice stretch in the triceps here. Two more breaths. Then bring forearms back to the floor, hands back to the floor, press back up to table. Turn your toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Bend through your elbows, hug them around, re-straighten your arms. Bring your hips back, top of your legs back. Woo, yeah. And then next inhale, drop to your knees. Bend through your elbows, hug them around, drop to your forearms. Press back up, turn your toes under, downward facing dog. Bend through your elbows, out, wrap them around, straighten. Good, and from here, drop to your knees. Bring yourself down onto your belly. Make a little pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on the pillow. And draw both legs really long. So just rest. If this is not comfortable with your hands on the little pillow, you can rest your hands beside your waist. Then bend through your knees. Flex your feet. And we'll press up 1 foot at a time, just trying to keep your hip flexors or your hip points on the floor. And we're just waking up hamstrings here because hamstrings are super important for posture as well. So you can go back and forth from right foot to left foot, trying to keep your lower legs perpendicular to the floor and not rock over to one side, but just the thigh comes off the floor, the hip pointer stays connected to the floor. And then release that effort. Bring your legs back down to the floor. And then we'll bring arms alongside our body. Palms up. Forehead on the floor. Draw your the head of your humerus, the head of your arm bone up. So shoulder tops come up. Hands higher than the shoulders. Feel that place between the shoulder blades, that spot at the back of your heart. Press into your feet and just lift your head and shoulders. Keep your gaze forward. And release back down. Take a rest either with the little hand pillow or one side of your head and then the other side of your head. And then we'll bring arms back to the sides of our bodies, palms down. Bring the heads of the arm bones up, shoulder tops up. Reach the hands higher than the shoulders. And then press into your feet, lift head and shoulders. Good. And release back down. Make that little pillow with your hands. Might feel nice to rock your hips back and forth here. Okay. Then we'll bring forehead back to the floor, arms out to the side like a T. Out to your side like a T. Lift the head of the arm bone. Palms are down here. Lift the arms higher than the shoulders, like you're going to take flight. Press the tops of your feet into the floor and lift head and shoulders. Draw your navel away from the floor. Press pubic bone into the floor. So you get length through your back body. Good. And then release to the little hand pillow or from side to side. Take your hips back and forth a little bit, your sacrum. Releasing here. And then we'll come to one more position, potentially. You can stay at any of the former positions, or you can bring your arms out sort of in a Y in front of you, forehead on the floor. Lift the head of the arm bone. Lift the hands up higher than the shoulders. Press into your feet, lift your head and shoulders. for 3, 2, 1. Then you're going to bend through your elbows, bring your hands beside your low ribs, press up, keep the elbows bent, wrap the elbows in and around, straighten, drop your hips back to child's pose. And here you might have a block for your forehead, depending on how warmed up you are in your back, keeping the back nice and long. And then hands can come. I can just get my elbows onto the block, my hands in prayer behind my head, and I'm getting a nice stretch in my triceps. Two more breaths here. Good, then we'll release. Hands come out, move the block away if you have a block. Coming forward, back to table. Bend through the elbows, wrap them around, re-straighten, turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Draw the tops of your thighs back. Bend through your knees slightly and engage the hamstrings at that same junction that when we were working on the floor, right, where the lower butt muscles meet the hamstring. Then we're going to inhale the right leg out behind us. And then as we start to bend through the elbows, bring the right knee to the floor, right in the center of your mat, and turn it out like a kickstand. Bring your left leg long, right hand forward, so you're in a variation of side plank. You could also have a block for your right hand. Good. And then make sure that your top hip is lined up over the bottom hip. So you're not pitched forward like this, but your hips are stacked. Great. And then we're going to take the top arm up and over, bending through my fingers like I'm grabbing something to pull it open. I'm going to draw that arm back to my side waist. Release my hand, come back over my bicep over ear. Take a grasp of something and draw it open slowly. So repeat that 3 more times. Right, then from here, you take top arm to the hip and press yourself up. All right, you're now in gate. You can turn the long leg, you could turn the toes up here, and then just a little side bend in the other direction. Doesn't have to be big here, just countering. Yep, good. Come back, turn your body to the floor, hands down, turn that kickstand leg, right? Bring both feet to the floor in table. Bend through your elbows, wrap the elbows around, re-straighten, turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. And we're going to go to the other side. Inhale the left leg up. And then as you bring that knee forward, you place it right in the center of your mat. Turn your leg like a kickstand. Right leg goes long. You can have a block for your left hand. And we're in a variation of side plank. So really pay attention to the hips being stacked so you're not tilted forward. And then we'll do that same thing. We'll extend the arm, top arm overhead, grab a little pull and bring that arm all the way back to our hip. Right? Extend overhead. Grab something there, pull all the way. You should feel the work. You'll feel the work in that same spot, sort of underneath the scapulae. Right? I have my ceiling in the way here. Drawing the arm back, releasing overhead. Let's do 2 more on this side. And then we can spin down to the floor, take both hands, take feet, or knees, you're back in the table position, bend through your elbows, wrap elbows in and around, press back, straight arms, turn toes under, lift knees, draw hips back, top of the thighs back, and press into downward facing dog. Next inhale, come forward, the High Dandasana. Press back, downward facing dog. Notice what happens with the arms and the elbows. You could do this on your knees as well. You can come forward into a variation of plank on the knees. Just take care of yourself here. Good. Then we'll inhale the right leg up and bend through your knee. Bring that foot forward between your hands. Drop your left knee and come into a lunge. Bring both hands to the top of your thigh. Good. And then we'll keep the pelvic floor lifted and good engagement as in the abdomen as you come forward and bring your hands into that same position. The elbows are not into the body, but arms are wide, but the thumbs are pulling back into the hitchhiker arms. And then on your exhale, you'll draw yourself back, round your back, bring your hands together in front of your body. So inhale to come down, lunging, bringing the thumbs back and squeezing, protracting the shoulder blades. And then on the exhale, you'll round your back, come up, upright a little bit more, bring the hands together in front of your body. Take a few more just like that. And then the next time you come down into the lunge, bring your hands down around your front foot, turn your back toes under, sweep your right foot back to meet your left foot in downward facing dog, bend through your elbows, wrap them out and around, re-straighten, bend through your knees, draw the tops of your thighs back. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring it forward between your hands. Drop your back knee to the floor. Both hands to the top of your left thigh. Same thing. As we drop into the lunge, we'll open the arms out wide. Thumbs back. And as you press back up, round your back and draw your hands together in front of your body. So we're squeezing shoulder blades together here, retraction, and then coming, separating shoulder blades, protraction. Good. The next time you come forward, frame that front foot with your hands, turn the back toes, come back, downward facing dog. Bend through the elbows, so your elbows are pretty deeply bent, and wrap them around, wrap them around and inward, and we straighten the arms. Great. Here we'll drop to our knees. Bring forearms to the floor. Well, let's actually start in table. So bend through your elbows, wrap everything around, drop your forearms to the floor. We did this just a little bit earlier, right? So now forearms are on the floor. Now turn toes under, press up and back. So you're in the dolphin or the pincha prep, really pressing into your forearms, pressing your forearms into the floor. You really feel the work in your shoulders, the back, that space right behind the heart. You're going to really feel this strongly here. Good. Let's go for 3 more breaths. Keep the legs engaged. Really keep the legs engaged. Great, then we'll come down to our knees. Reach the hands forward. Lift elbows off the floor, forehead to the floor, puppy pose. Spin your triceps towards the floor. Spin your triceps towards the floor. Great, from here then, we'll slide the forearms back into that same position. If you lost it, bring yourself up to table. Bend through the elbows, wrap the elbows in and back, come down to forearms. Turn toes under, press up one more time. Draw navel up and in, press through the elbows so you're not collapsing to the floor, but you're staying nice and lifted here in this dolphin pose. For 3 more breaths. Right, now see what you got today. We'll extend the left arm, extend the right arm, walk feet to hands. You got your block if you need it. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Then bend through your knees, drop your hips back, hands to hips, come up in this nice, secure stance. Come up to Tadasana. Great. And then we'll go into the Warrior One pose. So we'll come from Tadasana. You can step left foot forward, right foot back. So front foot, outer edge of the front foot lined up with long edge of mat, back foot, toes are turned in slightly. And then hands to hips, we'll just wake up hips a little bit so you can vinyasa here just a few times as you bring weight into the back foot, bend through the front knee. And we're going for front knee is lined up in the center of the lower leg and over the ankle. And then once you have that and you feel stable in that position, lifting back hamstring, we'll open up to those hitchhiker kind of hands again. So arms are wide, draw your sacrum down or your tailbone down. Good. So you feel that work behind the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. Good. And then we'll inhale, straighten front leg, bring hands up to prayer above the head. And then we'll exhale, sweep arms back. Inhale, straighten front leg, lift arms up to prayer. Exhale. And you can do this 3 more times. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bend through the front leg. Bring the hands into the hitchhiker position. Yep. The next time you land in the, with the front leg bent and the arms back, bring your hands to your hips. Then lean forward, draw your weight forward, step your right foot back, and come into like a kind of a big squat here. Good. Great. And then from here, step up into or stand up into Tadasana. Good. We'll try the other side. We'll go to the other side. So now bring the right foot is forward, the left foot is back. Same thing, hands to hips. And we'll just sort of vinyasa through with the legs, the feet, just finding that good position with the front knee lined up to the center of our lower leg and over the ankle. Back foot is turned out. Good. And really press into your back foot as you bend through the front leg. Really find that action of those things together. And then we'll take arms out, thumbs pointing back. Then pressing feet together, sweeping arms up into prayer. Press front leg straight is what I meant to say. And then exhale, bend through the front legs, sweeping arms back. Press both feet firmly as you straighten front leg, bring arms up to prayer above your head, and come. Let's do 3 more just like that. So we open into the hitchhiker arms, and then we straighten the front leg, bring arms up, hands in prayer above our head. Great. Next time you land, forward with the front knee bent, take your hands to your hips. Lean your body weight forward and step your back foot to meet your front foot so you're in sort of a squatting position, right? Then drop to a deep squat, all the way till you can get your hands down to the floor and step back to plank. Bend through the elbows, wrap the elbows in, press back. You could do that on your knees too, so you're a little more open and extended than a table, but bend through the elbows, wrap the elbows in, straighten. Maybe you hold the plank, draw your navel up and in. Navel up and in. Strong arms, press the floor away. Then drop to your knees, reach your hips back towards your heels. Keep your elbows lifted here, forehead to the floor in an extended child's pose. Arms extended. Well, let's just press up here and slide left hand underneath right and come into a twist. So thread the needle, left arm under right arm is extended out in the front, or you could rest it at your sacrum or go for a bind. And then just slide right hand back towards your head, press yourself up, and go to the other side. So left arm extended out in front or resting on your sacrum. Slide left hand back beside your face. Bring your hands back to right underneath your shoulders, right? And table. Knees can be back a little bit. Bend through your elbows. Maybe you go a little deeper now. Wrap your elbows in. So wrap them in, then straighten your arms. Look at your elbow creases in the little front where they take blood, right? Where are they pointing? You want to sort of try to point towards the short edge of the mat. Then turn toes under, press tops of the thighs back. and extend up into downward facing dog. Bend through your elbows any amount, wrap them in, feel the work there between the shoulders, straighten as you press your hips back. Head is released between the biceps. Keep your head nice and loose, the back of your neck long. From here, walk the feet forward, come into halfway lift, and a fold. And then bend through your knees, take a deep squat. Hands to the legs or out in front, and slowly press up to Tadasana. Find Tadasana, turn your palms forward. Turn the palms forward in Tadasana. Arms to the side. Line the earlobes up over your shoulders, so draw the head back, keeping your chin parallel to the earth. And we'll find a balance pose here. So we'll come into Vrksasana if you need to move off your mat or find some wall space. Take your weight until keep the arms in this nice position. So kind of pulling down with the fingertips, really have the shoulders, drawn in, like using that same muscular action right behind my heart space and between the shoulders. And I'll put the weight into one foot and just reach the other foot against my calf or against my thigh or resting on the standing foot. Your choice. And then can you keep that same engagement in the back and start to raise the arms? Maybe even do that same thing we did, elbows in, and let's bring the hands into your back body space. And you can release the arms back down to your sides. Notice if you're gripping in your neck and relax, shoulder tops down, but keep that firm engagement in the back as you open and feel yourself opening through your collarbones more in your heart space. Then you might try lifting the arms up. Again, my ceiling's in the way here. And release. And just walk around your space, shake that out. We'll try the other side. So find the other foot firmly planted. You're in the Tadasana shape. Reach the fingertips down towards the earth and feel a little engagement behind the heart space. See if that helps you open through the collarbones. And then place opposite foot up. So emphasis here, really, we've got a balancing posture, but we're really thinking about this place behind the heart and opening through our heart. You can bring the hands out, elbows in, hands back, opening through the collarbones. Maybe lifting the arms up. Hips are level. And then we'll release that. Walk around your space, shake your legs out. Come to the top of your mat. Come back to Tadasana. Find a good Tadasana, really strong Tadasana shape. So really pull your fingertips down towards the earth. This is a lot of engagement. We're just working with that space some more Engage there. And then from here, from this Tadasana, we're just gonna take a baby back bend, standing baby back bend. So we'll reach the arms up, keep the back of the neck long, and just take your gaze up towards your hands. Draw your tailbone down towards your heels. You could play here. You could bring the hands back in that same position, elbows in, hands out. Feel how that opens you up through your collarbones. Keep the back of your neck long. Reach back up. Navel in, tailbone down. Ooh, then really slowly transition here. So I like to bring my head to center first. Then I'm going to bow through. I'm going to bend my knees, bow through, come over into a fold with my knees bent. Again, I'm working with the low back issues I have, but as you know, as it suits you, come into a halfway lift. Bend through your knees, place your hands to the mat, step back to the downward facing dog. Bend through your elbows, wrap your elbows in, re-extend, pressing hips back. Head between the biceps. Engagement in your legs. And then come up onto your toes, really lift sit bones, press tops of thighs back, drop your knees to the floor, keep your head up, keep your hips, open, and then just reach your hands forward, puppy pose. Roll triceps down towards the floor. You might even widen your knees here and drop your torso a little closer to the floor. Roll triceps to the floor. Then eventually coming down to the floor with your forehead and sliding, letting your body slide back until you can come into child's pose. Now, if your block is handy, you can bring your block out in front of you. Take your elbow points to the block. Hands in prayer. And stretch the triceps here. So I've got my head sort of resting on the front edge of my block, elbows on the top of the block. Pretty comfortable. I'm in a big, wide, toes together, knees apart, child's pose shape. And you certainly don't have to do the block. You could just have your elbows to the floor, hands at prayer. Right, and then from here we'll transition any way that feels fine for you. Just transition back down onto your back. All right, we'll take a figure 4. Just enough to feel some lengthening in the outer hip. Take this in both directions. And you can take the soles of your feet to the floor, bring hand to opposite elbow, and just draw that across your body back and forth. Your 2 stacked forearms, like the old typewriter return thing. And then you could start to move your knees in the opposite direction. A little core engagement. Just opening here. And then a big hug just a big hug. The knees could still be going. Just hands, if you can crawl your hands all the way to the outer border of your each scapula. Great. And then release your arms down to your sides, palms up, and make your way eventually here. You might need something else, take it. But make your way to the Shavasana shape with legs extended, feet wide, arms out. You could press into the back of your head, tuck your shoulder blades under. A lot of work in the back today, so really feel the support of the floor in that same space, right where we started. How is it now? How is it now? Breathe into that space right behind the heart, the back of the heart. The support of the earth. Take your time to settle down. Who's in a hurry? Don't be in a hurry. The breath is soft. Face is soft. And then take your hands to your heart and just express some gratitude for yourself for showing up to practice. Anyone else who's made practice possible for you. You can stay in Shavasana as long as you like or join me in a seat. Coming up, when you do come to your seat, really see if you can find that open heart. Keeping the eyes downcast, soft, as we bring hands together in front of the heart center. May the merit of our practice encourage all beings to unveil the hidden brilliance that lies within. Namaste.